what does this title represent? It means you're the best in the world. And if you're the best in the world, it doesn't matter who is going to be standing across from you. What do I say? No, never. Let's do this.
It's not what we expected, but perhaps it's what we wanted. It's the rematch between Islam and Volkanovski in this one. And what can you say about that first one, Meat Boy? I mean, there were kind of a split opinions everywhere. Many thought Islam won. Maybe even more thought that Volkanovski won. But either way, it was an extremely close, unanimous decision win for Islam the first time these guys fought. And it was in February of this year. And again, it was supposed to be Islam versus Charles for a second time. Charles gets a gnarly cut, and in on 10 days' notice steps Volkanovski, and you got to absolutely love the mindset for Volkanovski, and you got to love the mindset for Islam too, saying what Dana essentially reiterated, where he's down to fight anyone, he's the champ, and that is his obligation. So in this one, we could go down the resumes of both guys, but obviously if you're watching UFC fight prediction videos, you know all about these two guys. So just straight into it, Meat Boy, who do you got in the rematch? Are you at all surprised by the odds? I mean, plus 210 is Volkanovski, minus 258 is Islam. Do you think that these odds would be closer if this was a fight where both guys had a full camp, and that explains the 2-to-1 dog value for Volkanovski, or would the odds have been here anyways? What are your thoughts on the odds and who you take?
Yeah, no, honestly, these odds are just disrespectful, because if you're watching the last one, I thought Volkanovski won clearly, so this should be a pick'em because it was a very competitive fight. Minus plus 300 means that their last battle.
How do you like your steaks?
Close. Unless people know something that I don't, or if they watched a fight that I didn't watch, I don't know. But it's just very interesting to see the disrespect to Alexander Volkanovski's. That being said, you know, I gotta lean on Volk because I did have him winning 3 out of the 5 rounds from the last bout. But, you know, maybe the argument could be of, you know, Islam had a really bad weight cut, and this one he'll be more dialed. You know, it's, you know, in a different country. Maybe he's more, you know, acclimated to this one, and he could just have a better performance. Also, Volkanovski's taking this on short notice, so. You know, I guess that would be the other factor, but I don't know. I don't think Volk ever doesn't train, so I think he's 100% ready for this, even though he technically wasn't in fight camp.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy who trains year-round. I mean, those CKB guys are always going at it, though. I did see that Volkanovski, when he got the phone call, was up to about 183 pounds, which is kind of crazy. I mean, he's only 5'6", but this guy also used to be a 230-pound rugby player, so it's not, I guess, too crazy to imagine him getting back up to around 185, but either way, you have to make a quick cut, coming down to 155 to challenge again for that double champ status. And to your point, you weren't the only one that thought that Volkanovski won that fight. I mean, Joe Rogan and the companion, they all thought that he did, and a lot of people thought that Volkanovski did win 3 rounds in that fight against Islam, but it was razor thin, and the odds makers, I think, are just being influenced by the fact that it's the late notice replacement, because if this fight had a full camp from both guys, I think it's closer to a pickup, because that fight was an absolute coin flip. I was unsure who won it personally. I wasn't going to be upset either way, to be honest with you. So for Islam to ultimately emerge with it wasn't too crazy. But either way, Meat Boy, Tapology 56% is going with Islam, 44% is going with Volkanovski. If you're picking Volk, do you anticipate him getting a finish, or would decision be most likely? What's his pathway?
If Volk wins, honestly, I could see a finish or a decision. Now, Volk winning by KO, honestly, I think he could. It has to be ground and pound. I just don't see him KOing him on the feet, to be honest. But the ground and pound he was displaying last time, if he could get on top and stay on top, I think Alexander could put him out. But honestly, I see no love for this idea, but I could see a submission. I mean, he's training full time with, you know, some of the GOATs, you know, like Craig Jones and stuff. And I mean, I just don't see how Islam is going to out jiu-jitsu Volkanovski. So I think Volkanovski is going to be way more prepared for that, and ready to submit if needed. But I do like a finish and decision. I don't know. I just feel like one of these guys are getting finished. I'm just not too sure who, but I'm going to lean the great because he is a great one.
Yeah, I could see it finishing this one too, Meat Boy. And you referenced Craig Jones, who has been pumping out a lot of content with Volkanovski, and essentially there's a lot of different opportunities, a lot of different positions that Craig Jones is hoping Volk will capitalize on when they materialize. So he's going to have some submission threats down there, but that would be crazy to put Makhachev out with a sub. I mean, it was crazy when Islam submitted Oliveira. So if OGM were then to submit Islam, that to me is kind of just breaking the matrix, so to speak. But I do agree with you, Meatball. I think someone's getting finished, and in fact, I think Volkanovski's getting finished. And I love the odds for Volk because I do still believe this should be more of a coin flip, but I just see Islam really relishing in this moment, capitalizing on it, and wanting to leave no doubt. Because you got to imagine that, I mean, Islam was pound for pound number one, or rather, he's pound for pound number two, beats pound for pound number one, yet doesn't jump up to pound for pound number one. And I thought that the whole reason he wanted to fight Volkanovski in the first place was to get that undisputed number one status. So I think he's going to come in with a point to prove. I think this is the opportunity to finish Volkanovski when he's coming off the couch, essentially. So I'm taking Islam. I'm taking him to get a finish, but in no world is it probably advisory to bet against Volkanovski because this is the great. He's one of the legends of the game, one of the best to ever do it. And in fact, if he takes out Islam on Saturday, he might arguably be the best to ever do it. So it's a coin flip for me, but I'm ultimately leaning Islam by finish. Either way, stoked that they were able to make something out of this main event because, again, just like the Paulo Costa situation against Hamzat, it could have got kind of ugly, but again, Volkanovski, a true champ, stepping up on short notice. Gotta love that, eh?
Oh, 100%. You definitely gotta love that. Love to see it. Throw in the comments who you taking. Are you seeing Islam with the KO? Are you seeing Volkanovski with the KO? Or just a finish on either one of these guys? Make sure to smash the subscribe and check out the Meat Lock and other videos.